All right, guys, so this is a very widely requested video. This is the Pentagon and September 11th. Now, a lot of people have wondered, they've asked, I've made so many different videos, why not talk about the Pentagon and its involvement? And it's not because I'm trying to forget about what happened at the Pentagon, but the first thing I wanted to do is show this aerial photo. Guys, the main issue with focusing on the Pentagon plane crash for too long is that when you look at this aerial photo, you can see the actual plane affected maybe 1/10 of the overall building, maybe 1/15 of it. It's just the thing with the Pentagon is it is a horizontal building. It's not vertical. So in terms of crashing a plane into it, no matter where you try it, it's just not going to result in much damage. And so you can see some of the photos. The Pentagon in general, just in looking at it, is such a strange building. It's like three buildings looping around, all connected together into one. It's very interesting, and the way they rebuilt it, certainly unique. You can see the area that they had to rebuild cost a bunch of money, but overall, the reason that I really don't discuss it too much is because of the fact that there's just not a lot of damage in comparison to the catastrophic things that happened to both the Twin Towers. It is a literal horror movie when you consider the first plane hitting, all of the cameras focusing on it, they see the second plane hit, and they see both of the towers fall. When it comes to the Pentagon, one of the curious parts of the actual crash is the lack of cameras. Now, you can see videos outside the Pentagon seized. A lot of people don't know this. Not only has the government refused to release footage that would clearly show how the Pentagon was attacked, it has also seized footage not belonging to the military. And you can see the FBI seized CCTV recording from a local hotel because the plane came down and there were a bunch of local areas, a hotel, a gas station. They've all got their security CCTV footage running. And for whatever reason, security purposes, I'm not sure the exact language they used, but the videos of the plane hitting the Pentagon were seized. The FBI visited a hotel near the Pentagon to confiscate film from a security camera, which some hotel employees had been watching in horror shortly after the attack. The FBI denied that the footage captured the attack. The FBI also visited a gas station southwest of the Pentagon within minutes of the attack and confiscated film that may have captured the attack. So within minutes, wow. Pretty crazy stuff there when it comes to them seizing any video of it. That is a pretty crazy what if in relation to the Pentagon that I don't see get discussed very much. What if there was actually video, security CCTV video from the hotel or the gas station that did show the impact and it was confiscated? There have been a few different attempts, numerous attempts to try and free this footage via the Freedom of Information Act, and it has all fallen on deaf ears. They say it's a security thing. That's why you've got all of those September 11th Twin Towers related videos that they won't release because apparently there's still trials going on. They say they can't do it. They can't tamper with any of the evidence. Maybe some of that stuff will end up getting released. Maybe this will at some point, although I wouldn't hold my breath. Nobody really knows when any of this will be declassified or if it ever will be. It's all just kind of random happenstance. If it happens, it'll be some random day when it comes to that. Some interesting eyewitness accounts describing other aircrafts around the Pentagon right after this crash. You can see Alan Cleveland said soon after the crash, within 30 seconds, he witnessed a military cargo plane, possibly a C-130, fly over the crash site and circle the mushroom cloud. His brother-in-law also witnessed the same plane following the jet while he was on the HOV lanes in Springfield. He said that he saw a jetliner flying low over the treetops near Springfield, Virginia, and soon after, a military plane was seen flying right behind it. Now, when it comes to eyewitness accounts, we know how inaccurate they are, but it is interesting that people saw other aircrafts, including helicopters, around the area right after the crash happened. The other thing I wanted to talk about, some people saying, what if they intercepted this plane? Was there any chance? Based off of what we have There was no chance this plane was getting intercepted. The only plane that could have been intercepted, it wouldn't have even been intercepted. It would have been like crashed into, apparently, because they didn't have missiles, so they were just going to crash into the plane Prometheus style. It would have been the fourth one that ended up crashing in the field in Pennsylvania. So this plane, there was no bringing this down. It all happened so quickly. The fourth plane, though, because there were multiple problems with it and getting it going, they had the, slight 30-minute delay on the tarmac. And then the hijackers themselves actually took too long in terms of taking the plane over. They took it over Cleveland when they should have done it a lot sooner, and that enabled a lot of the passengers to be alert and to call home and to realize the situation that was going on. And one of the things I find most interesting about this crash is the light poles. Now, if you just surface level research this, a lot of people, they're not even going to know about the light poles, but it is kind of the idea of the plane coming very low and hitting the light poles before hitting the side of the Pentagon. And you can see the photos that I was able to find. Look at that. That's an old taxi that I guess got crushed by one of the light poles as the plane's wing impacted the light pole, slicing it in half. And then it apparently hit the taxi right there. And then this is the only other photo I was able to find. It looks like some type of debris from possibly a light pole right there, sliced up on the ground with the Pentagon in the distance. You also do have a few other things that I wanted to share, just some of the damage to the Pentagon, the first floor. They recently released this, or I don't know if this was recent, but I saw on Reddit it was at least relatively new. You can see the structure. I mean, that's just such a small area, the structural damage. The Pentagon is such a large landscape ranch style building when you look at it. So the idea of crashing a plane into it, it's just not going to do a ton of damage to it. And mainly like the water when they were putting out the fire, that did more damage to the structure. Obviously you can see the fire damage. They have to put it out and overlap it. And then just like going back to that photo of the taxi, like the idea of thinking it's a missile, when you see something like that, it's just very far-fetched. It seems to me very far-fetched. Now, certainly the government, they can do whatever they want. They can destroy a taxi. They can knock down lampposts. It's funny where my YouTube channel is talking about lampposts, trying to analyze how they get knocked down from a plane hitting the side of the building, But it just seems like, man, I don't know how that would be, just seems very far-fetched to me. But look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know exactly. And then they do have the Pentagon Memorial, which cost around $22 million, and it was built on around 2 acres of land. This memorial I actually have visited. So I've never been to New York City. My trip got canceled in 2020 with the pandemic and everything like that, but I was able to go here. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it at night. They have a really nice light display. They also have a beautiful light display, in New York City with both of the waterfalls and the light coming up from that, but also in terms of this, beautiful lights going all the way around it. That is a very nice memorial, and they're also planning another memorial for the Pentagon as well. That's going to be even bigger, apparently. But either way, that is just the story on the Pentagon being hit. And obviously, in terms of the bigger picture in relation to September 11th, this was way more scary when it was happening because you had both of the Twin Towers get hit. Okay, they're massive skyscrapers. When the Pentagon gets hit, oh my goodness, now they're targeting places in different states. It's not just contained to New York City. So this was an even more scary deal in comparison to the Twin Towers, under the context that, it's not just contained to New York City and it's not just an attack on New York City, it's an attack on America, and people just had no clue what to do. So either way, guys, that is just the story of the Pentagon being hit. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.